Welcome to Teal Talk, an ovarian cancer podcast from the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition. Here, experts, survivors, and advocates share knowledge and inspiration for every step of your journey. Subscribe and follow us on social media at NOCC National. This episode is brought to you by our generous sponsors, GSK and Merck. Welcome to Teal Talk, an ovarian cancer podcast from the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition. I'm your host, Jennifer McClendon, and today we're diving into a topic that touches every person impacted by ovarian cancer: nutrition. Knowing what to eat and how to nourish your body can feel confusing or overwhelming at some points in your journey. We know there's taste changes, appetite disappears, foods can make you feel nauseous, and on. And our goal today is really to make nutrition simple and manageable. And joining us is Catherine Macpherson, Senior Vice President and Chief Nutrition Officer with Mom's Meals. Catherine's going to help us understand what matters most and how small changes can make a meaningful difference in your overall well-being. Welcome, Catherine, and thank you so much for being here. Would you like to take a moment and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Mom's Meals?
I would be more than happy to. Thanks so much, Jennifer. I'm so happy to be here with you today to talk about nutrition, which, as you stated, is such an important part of ovarian cancer treatment. So, by way of introduction, in my role at Mom's Meals, I work to ensure our programs have a strong clinical foundation and that we're measuring the impact of our programs on people's health and well-being. In that role, I get to work with a variety of wonderful partners, including the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition, to help each of our partners achieve their mission. And speaking about mission, I'll share ours at Mom's Meals as well. Our mission is improving life through better nutrition at home. And we are a leading national food as medicine provider and providing home-delivered, medically tailored meals to every address in the U.S. is core to what we do and what we've been doing for more than 26 years now. But we also offer other food as medicine solutions like oral nutrition supplements, produce and pantry boxes, and nutrition education. So thanks so much for having me here today.
We really value our partnership with Mom's Meals and for the service that you're able to deliver to those that are going through such a hard time. So we really appreciate your mission as well. Absolutely. So from your perspective, Catherine, why does eating become difficult during ovarian cancer treatment or really any cancer treatment?
Yeah, it really is because of the treatment itself and the effects on the body. So eating can become quite difficult during treatment because those treatments really change how the body experiences food. So chemotherapy, surgery, and medications, we know they do just try and target cancer cells, but they also impact other cells, including cells lining the GI tract, cells lining our mouths, so our taste buds, and they can even impact our energy levels. So food that once felt comforting and nourishing, and something that was really enjoyed can suddenly just turn people off. It can cause nausea, digestive discomfort, and foods that even were favorites can taste or smell very different than before. We know that during treatment, many people notice appetite changes or they can feel full much more quickly than normal. This can often be due to bloating, for example, and bloating is just one of the GI symptoms. Reflux, constipation, diarrhea are all common during treatment and can make eating more uncomfortable. So those taste changes, food can taste metallic, bitter, or just off, even when, again, they were your favorites before treatment. It's not only the physical changes, cancer treatment can also cause such an emotional layer that we just can't ignore. So stress, anxiety, and uncertainty can suppress appetite sometimes and really change how the body responds to hunger cues. For many people, food stops feeling like a source of pleasure and starts to feel like another task that they're struggling to manage. So sometimes just thinking about shopping, cooking, chewing, digesting can consume so much energy that people just might say, that's just too much for me right now. And that's where we want people to pivot. And we'll talk today about some solutions to make that as easy as possible.
Yes, I definitely hear this a lot, that I used to love food and now nothing sounds good, or everything tastes like metal, or I want to eat healthy, but I can't keep anything down. So what would you say when someone's energy is low or energy is gone? or food just doesn't sound as good, what should patients really focus on, maybe from the nutrition perspective?
First of all, just know that these changes are incredibly common and it's not their fault. These are expected side effects of treatment. And so don't be hard on yourself. So just understanding the challenges are kind of that first step and can help take away some of the pressure and guilt that the patients and their caregivers can feel. So from there, let's talk about some of those practical strategies. When eating's hard, don't aim for perfection. Again, it's about doing little things that can nourish the body in a way that feels manageable. So, first, let's talk about getting enough of the very basics like calories and protein to sustain your energy and to maintain your muscle as you're undergoing treatment. So, even if it's small amounts, so protein rich foods can help support strength and healing during treatment. And it doesn't have to be a large portion. So something like a smoothie that has protein in it coming from dairy or a non-dairy source, for example, you can have some nut butter in there, protein-rich soups that could have some meats incorporated, beans, lentils as well. Eggs can be a really nice source. It's a more bland food and could be better tolerated. Scrambled eggs, hard-boiled eggs, eggs on top of toast, whatever that is, nut butter on toast. So these small wins can really matter. Hydration is also going to be really important, especially if, nausea, diarrhea, or vomiting are present. We want to make sure that folks are staying hydrated. Instead of large drinks, small sips throughout the day can really help, especially if there is that feeling of like bloating, nausea, or feeling full very quickly. Nourishing drinks like broth, you can get bone broth today, even in the store. Juice, diluted juice, we would recommend. Electrolyte drinks, even ice chips. These can be easy to tolerate. And so, especially when energy is low, I often recommend small, frequent meals or snacks rather than trying to eat 3 full meals throughout the day. So, eating every couple of hours, even just a few bites, can help maintain energy throughout the day without overwhelming the body and the GI tract. So, just keep in mind being flexible is key. If something worked for you a couple weeks ago and it's not working for you now, that's okay. You may feel differently. Tastes may further change. So just go with what looks good at that moment. And if something doesn't look good in the moment, that's okay. Again, no pressure on yourself, no feeling guilty. Listen to your body and don't try and be perfect. Something that's imperfect is still going to be helpful to your body. So I think something else very important, I know I mentioned this in the situation, can be helpful, is just letting go of food guilt. If you're like, I know I should be eating more vegetables, of course, we want to eat a plant forward style of eating as well. We're getting really important nutrients, phytonutrients that can really help our bodies and our cells. But if cooked vegetables or something isn't sounding good to you right now, eat what sounds good. And if easy to digest foods are what are working for you right now, that's okay. So these are not setbacks. Think of these as strategies for maintaining your strength and getting enough nutrition during treatment. We can always get that variety and balance later on, but just most important, eating consistently throughout the day, those small meals, nourishing foods, protein forward foods, and then being kind to yourself.
Yes, I appreciate you saying being kind to yourself, letting go of some of that food guilt because it isn't your fault. It's what's being happened to you. So, yes, I'm glad that you pointed that out. And you may have touched on this a little bit, but how can maybe some other specific food choices or food strategies help manage some of the more common side effects? I know you touched on hydration, but is there anything specific that you might speak to or have a tip about regarding constipation or maybe nausea?
Yeah, so when side effects really make eating hard, food can be a help. But the approach, again, has to be flexible based on how you're feeling. So the goal isn't to manage every symptom perfectly, but to make things a little easier throughout the day. So with nausea, again, smaller amounts of food more often during the day usually work better than full meals, and also bland foods. So I mentioned eggs, but also foods like toast, rice, oatmeal, crackers. These can be easier to tolerate. Also, cold or room temperature foods can really be helpful if cooking smells trigger nausea. Consider that when you're planning meals as well. If cooking smells trigger your nausea, choose cold or maybe heat and eat choices so you don't have to spend a lot of time in the kitchen with those smells. Chilled fruits like kiwi, watermelon, strawberries, apple slices can often be well tolerated. Again, with that hydration, sipping fluids throughout the day instead of drinking large amounts at once can also really make a difference. Some other strategies around taste changes, especially metallic or bitter flavors, can be made by tweaking your food choices. So, using plastic utensils or wooden utensils, bamboo, for example, there's a variety out there instead of metal utensils, can sometimes help with avoiding that metallic taste. Adding a citrus flavor, some orange, some lemon, some lime, some mild seasonings. These could be herbs like mint or mild spices can be helpful with foods. And then choosing softer foods can help as well. So, again, back to the yogurts, the eggs, smoothies, soups, those can work better as well for taste changes. I think another common one is diarrhea, right? So, with diarrhea, gentle foods like bananas, applesauce, rice, toast, oatmeal, those are usually going to be better tolerated and can be really helpful. And then with diarrhea, it's really important to maintain that hydration. So again, the small sips of water and other fluids throughout the day. Yeah, I think those are some of the most common tips that are helpful to folks. But again, just iterate on that.
Wonderful. One of the last things I wanted us to address was for those who are listening who are exhausted, too tired to cook, to grocery shop, or even think about food preparation, what would you recommend?
We know for many people going through treatment, their biggest issue regarding nutrition is simply exhaustion. So when energy is low, nutrition should be as easy as possible. So keeping grab and go foods on hand, accepting help from caregivers, if that's a family, friends, neighbors, folks from work, say yes, that's okay. And then also receiving home delivered medically tailored meals that are fully prepared, like we offer at Mom's Meals, can really take the pressure off. So that's a choice you can make for yourself. That's a choice a caregiver can decide to make for you. But we help so many people undergoing treatment every day. So that's what we do. But the most important thing to remember is this: simpler is better. During treatment, eating something that feels manageable is going to be far more important than trying to eat perfectly.
And in case you didn't know, we, the NOCC, actually partner with Mom's Meals and are able to help provide nutritious, ready-to-eat meals to our survivors and families at no cost. So, Catherine, could you discuss with us how services at Mom's Meals support patients who live alone or maybe even who lack some caregiver support?
This is such an important topic because so many people are going through treatment on their own or largely on their own. They may live alone, they might have limited caregiver support or have family and friends who want to be there to help, but maybe live far away or simply can't be there consistently. So, when that's the case, food is often one of the first things that does become overwhelming for patients. So, grocery shopping, meal planning, cooking, and cleanup require time and energy, and those things are often in very short supply during ovarian cancer treatment. So, nutrition support services like we provide with NOCC can help by removing those barriers. So, having those fully prepared heat and eat meals delivered right to your doorstep means that patients don't have to decide what to eat or shop for ingredients or prepare food when they're already exhausted or not feeling well. So, just that reduction in effort alone can significantly lower stress and preserve energy, which is so crucial during treatment. So, services like Mom's Meals are specifically designed for situations like this. Meals are delivered right to doorstep, as I said, and that's really important for people who kind of getting out of the house, getting to the store is just not something that they're up to regularly. There's no cooking required, and they're designed by registered dietitians and chefs as well. So they are very nutritious, but also meant to be broadly appealing. And they support the nutritional needs of people going through cancer treatment. So for individuals with cancer, the meals are built with a higher protein and balanced calories in mind to support strength and healing and overall nutrition, even when appetite is low. The portion size is really
Wonderful.
manageable, and meals are created to be approachable for people dealing with common side effects like fatigue or taste changes. So, another key benefit is consistency. When someone's living alone or lacks caregiver support, having that reliable access to nutritious food can help them eat small amounts throughout the day without a whole lot of effort. And it also provides peace of mind, knowing that there's food that's ready, prepared in the refrigerator and appropriate for their needs. Ultimately, services like Mom's Meals aren't just about delivering meals. They're about supporting people when they need it most, supporting their independence, reducing stress, and helping conserve energy so that energy goes toward what's most important, getting through treatment, focusing on recovery, and taking care of oneself.
Well, I can say from firsthand experience how delicious the meals are. I've used them a few times with some various family members, and they are really good. So we definitely appreciate that part as well. But Catherine, thank you so much for joining us today and for making nutrition during treatment feel more manageable and less overwhelming. Remember, eating during treatment is about doing the best you can, like Catherine said, not being perfect. And small steps and compassionate choices truly matter. So just want to remind you, for more resources and information about our partnership with Mom's Meals, you can visit our website at ovarian.org. And until next time, stay informed, stay hopeful, and remember, we're stronger together.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Teal Talk, an Ovarian Cancer Podcast. This program is made possible thanks to supporters like you, who help the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition bring connection, education, and hope to survivors and families nationwide. Learn more or donate at ovarian.org. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and take care.